Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala Rasulil Kareem. Amma ba'd. Welcome, brothers and sisters, to another day of our reflections that we have been sharing from the beginning of Ramadan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all our gathering, make this a means of our khair and barakah in this world and khair and barakah in the day of Qiyamah as well. I'm going to inshallah make this announcement at the end as well, but just a reminder for the brothers and sisters who have been joining us that from tomorrow, May 1st till May 8th, our time slot inshallah will move from 5:15 a.m. to 5 a.m. So inshallah we're moving back 15 minutes because the suhoor closes early. So inshallah starting tomorrow, May 1st till May 8th, inshallah, we will be having our Counsel of the Pious session, morning session, inshallah, at 5 a.m. We're moving back 15 minutes, inshallah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala Rasulihil Kareem. Amma ba'd. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. Brothers and sisters, alhamdulillah, for the previous week or so now, alhamdulillah, in this beloved month of Ramadan, we have been sharing the words and advice of the pious, the counsel of the pious, and we're hoping from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He doesn't allow these words to only remain as text and words, but He really makes these as a part of our lives, because I really feel that all of these things are gems and very important points to really bring into our lives and make ourselves even better individuals. Because according to the hadith of Rasulullah ﷺ, a believer becomes a better individual in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala every day of their lives. Meaning they are becoming better individuals every single day of our lives. Our salah that we made right now, which is Salatul Fajr, our Dhuhr salah today should be better than our Fajr. And our Asr, inshallah, should be better than our Dhuhr. So every moment that we take as a step in our life, we should become better and closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in our life. So there's always moments of learning. So I want to share with you a counsel today and an advice from a man which is a very famous individual in the names of Tabi'un, those who came after the Sahaba. His name is Hassan al-Basri, rahimahullah ta'ala anhu, who was one of the most pious individuals of his time. And even till today, when people want to give relevance or examples, they say, oh, you want to be Hassan al-Basri, you want to be Junaid Baghdadi, meaning they have become benchmarks of piety in faith. May Allah also make us amongst the righteous and pious. So this is a counsel or the advice from Hassan al-Basri, rahimahullah ta'ala anhu. And usually from all the counsels that I have been sharing from the very beginning, they are structured in a way that you get three things in one. So you also get three things in this as well. So I want to quote this, and it is mentioned that Al-Hassan al-Basri said that he who has no manners has no knowledge. Ya Kareem, Allahu Akbar. He who has no manners has no ilm. Because ilm and knowledge, brothers and sisters, subhanAllah, will always be attached with adab. And one thing that we should always remember, and this is a little complicated issue, that there's a difference between ilm, knowledge, and information, right? One is to just have ilm, which is the true knowledge, and one is just to have information. So they're two different things. And ilm, the true knowledge, is that which really connects us with the Creator. It could be anything. It could just be science, or it could just be mathematics, or anything. Meaning it could be any field of life that at the end allows us to recognize the deity, the power, the strength of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's the true essence of true knowledge. And Hassan al-Basri mentioned that true knowledge, he who has no manners has no knowledge. And brothers and sisters, we should never, may Allah give me the strength to realize and understand, we should never confuse information. You will find people with information, but to find people with knowledge is something that we really need to look for. And just a side note, Rasulullah ﷺ said, two people will not be able to achieve knowledge. A person who is extremely shy and a person who is extremely arrogant. These two people will not be able to achieve ilm. That's a side hadith, which we're not talking about right now. But going back to this saying of Hassan al-Basri, he who has no manners has no knowledge, and subhanallah, we have heard this multiple times in quotations in different languages. In Urdu, there's a famous quote that I've been hearing since I was a child: Be'adab be-nasib, ba'adab ba-nasib. A person who has adab and etiquettes will have a good future and good upbringing, and will receive and retrieve a lot. And a person who has no adab and etiquettes will not be able to attain. So adab, Allahu Akbar, etiquettes, manners, brothers and sisters, is one of the basic fundamentals of knowledge. I remember and I don't want to prolong this because of the lack of time. I wish I can share much more. If you read the story of Musa alayhi salam in Surah Al-Kahf, chapter 18, where this man, Khidr, was, a man of knowledge that Allah had given him so much. And Musa alayhi salam found out through inspiration, through wahi, that there is a person who has knowledge of certain things that he doesn't have. And Musa alayhi salam is a man of jalal and power and strength. And it is mentioned that he traveled for days just so that he can go and visit the person of ilm, Khidr. And Khidr is not even a prophet. Musa alayhi salam is a prophet. And wallahi, brothers and sisters, if you read that passage in the Quran, your heart will melt. And Musa alayhi salam, a man who spoke to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the mountain of Tur, he's standing in front of Khidr and he's saying, can you please accept me as a student of knowledge for what Allah has given you from his nur? Meaning the passage in Quran is so beautiful, meaning he's showing extreme manners. And what does he get as a reply? No, you have no patience. Sorry, go. You have no patience. You can't be a student of knowledge. He said, you didn't even try me. Try me out and then test it. SubhanAllah. Anyway, so Hassan al-Basri mentioned, he who has no manners has no knowledge. Number two, he who has no patience has no deen. Allahu Akbar. He who has no patience, he who has no sabr has no religion. That's how big sabr and patience play in our deen, brothers and sisters. Allahu Akbar. May Allah grant us that ability and strength to be able to control ourselves and our desires, as I'm the weakest of all, brothers and sisters, but to have sabr and patience at time when you want to say something and you hold yourself back, or you want to do something and you hold yourself back. This is a huge ni'mah and blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So patience, Allahu Akbar, sabr, is something which is a gift of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is a favor of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon people, So the second thing, Hassan al-Basri, or she has no sabr. He or she who doesn't have sabr and patience in their life, they cannot have deen. That doesn't mean that, may Allah forgive, they're not Muslims or they're out of their faith, but it means that the perfection of faith, the perfection of religion cannot be attained in the life of a person till they begin to adapt patience in their demeanor, in their actions, in their lives. So the first thing Hassan al-Basri rahmatullah alayhi mentioned, that person who has no manners has no ilm, no knowledge. A person who has no patience has no religion and no deen. And last but not least, Allahu Akbar, may Allah grant us this, that person, he or she, who does not have God conscious, has no qurb and closeness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A person who doesn't have the taqwa, the fear of Allah. And brothers and sisters, I have mentioned this many, many times. The fear of Allah does not mean to be afraid of Allah or scared of Allah, because you fear people that you love as well. Not because he or she will beat you, just because he or she will leave you, because you're so attached to their company and their closeness that you are afraid of your beloved, because you don't want to lose that closeness with them. So Hassan al-Basri mentioned, rahimahullah ta'ala anhu, that he or she who does not have God conscious, who does not have the taqwa or the awareness of Allah, he or she who doesn't know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching me at every moment of my life, in every decision, in every action, in public and private, in day and night, in front and in any place. If a person doesn't have that consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then there is no closeness of Allah. The qurb, the taqarrub, the closeness of Allah, the sweetness and halawat of iman can never be felt without getting to have the consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Otherwise, like me, Allah protect all of us, brothers and sisters, myself, I'm the weakest. Otherwise, our sajda will be even empty from the yad and remembrance of Allah. Even in my sajda, I will be thinking of the ghair of Allah if I don't create consciousness in my life. So let's go back and wrap this up and not make it very, very long. Hassan al-Basri, rahimahullah ta'ala anhu, who is from amongst the great tabi'un of his time and a great individual of piety, and he's a benchmark of religion, subhanallah. Hassan al-Basri mentions three things, counsel, which has three parts to it. He who has no manners has no knowledge, which means that knowledge, the true ilm, not information, not just skills, the true ilm, the true essence of ilm, knowledge is connected with manner. The more that a person begins to have manner, the more ilm comes. I remember my mom and dad always tells me that a tree that is full of fruits is always leaning down to the ground. And a tree that doesn't have fruits is just like standing up, roots all high, and what the branches all high, because the weight of the fruits never bring it down. So the more the fruits, the more it becomes humble. Mannerism is something which is attached to ilm. That's number one. Number two thing is that he who doesn't have patience, the person who doesn't know how to control themselves through actions and words and anything in their life, he or she cannot complete and perfect their religion and deen as well. And last but not least, a person who doesn't have the consciousness of Allah, a person who doesn't have awareness and taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then he or she is deprived of the closeness of Allah as well. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us akhlaq and manners of the Prophet ﷺ. For indeed, O Allah, we are all weak. O Allah, grant us the manners which will allow us to acquire the true knowledge and ilm from your own knowledge, O Allah. Grant us the ilm that you have from your own treasures, that Allah promises in the Quran, ilm ladunni, ilm from the ilm of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. O Allah, we are weak, but we ask you to grant us knowledge from your knowledge, which will be beneficial for us. O Allah, grant us the forbearance and strength in making our decisions so we can perfect our religion. O Allah, we ask you to grant us consciousness of yours. O Allah, we ask you to give us your taqwa and the reality of your existence in our lives so that we can find your closeness, O Allah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive our brothers and sisters who have left us with this difficult and trying times in the state of Iman. May Allah grant them the highest of the place of Al-Firdaus in Jannah. And may Allah grant their family members sabr and patience. And our brothers and sisters who are struggling for their lives and they are sick and they're in difficult conditions, may Allah give them shifa and health. For those many of our brothers and sisters who are in front lines and essential workers and making so much effort and putting their lives at risk every single day, oh Allah, protect them, and oh Allah, be their guard for them, and oh Allah, protect them from all difficulties and hardships. So again, brothers and sisters, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us barakah in these days of Ramadan. Subhanallah, the time is really, really flying. We ask Allah to truly allow us to benefit from the remaining days of the month of Ramadan. As I mentioned in the very beginning, brothers and sisters, our evening program, inshallah, will remain at 9 p.m. every night, inshallah, till the end of the month. So we are going to see you tonight at 9 p.m. for our usual event where we have the alhamdulillah noble words of Sheikh Ibrahim Najam, and I share a small little portion from the Quranic supplication, and then we have the recitation of the Quran, and inshallah our Fajr reflection, which is this program, inshallah, from tomorrow, May 1st, will move to 5 a.m. because the suhoor is coming earlier. So inshallah, from May 1st to May 8th, our program, inshallah, will be at 5 a.m. So inshallah, tomorrow we'll see you, whoever joins us in the morning, inshallah, at 5 a.m. and tonight at 9 p.m. May Allah give us tawfiq. Jazakumullah khair. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.